You're listening to Metal Attack MTL with Double D here on MetalMessiahRadio.com.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Skolnick trio. When did you first form this group?
I moved to New York in the late 90s, and I pretty much only did jazz for about 12 years. And I got a music degree at a place called the New School University in New York. I just wanted to see what it was like to study at a university, having been in the metal world and just been on the road, all that craziness. I want to see what is it like to do music on this level, where it's like legitimate and kind of formal. So while I was in school, I met this great drummer, Matt Zabosky, and we started playing together, and it was a lot of fun. And we just had this, we just had a sound together. And then one day, at first we were just playing like typical jazz tunes, which are known as standards. If you buy any jazz album, there's a good chance you're going to come across tunes which are called standards, which are tunes from the 50s or earlier. So we were just playing songs like that, and then one day I had this crazy idea to do a Scorpions tune, but arrange it in the style of a jazz standard. So the song was No One Like You, and it felt so great to play it, and it went over great with the audiences, and we ended up doing a whole album of tunes like that. We called it Standards for a New Generation.
Cool. And what kind of writing process do you take, like writing with the trio? I mean, okay, first of all, you're in basically a band that could be called classical metal, and then now you have jazz, and jazz is like, from what little musical experience I have, I know that jazz is like one of the most difficult. So like, I don't know. Just let's talk about that. Your writing process with the trio.
Okay. Well, you really have to love it. It is difficult, but if you really love the music, it's not difficult. And it's just it's the music I just love. I never got the whole idea that you have to just listen to one thing, whether it's jazz or metal.
You're a music fan, yeah.
Yeah. So with the trio, I just I'll bring in an idea. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's an original or an arrangement of a classic tune. And I'll just start playing it. These guys will just start playing, and it will sound good. And I'll tweak it. I'll tell them to try this or try that, but or maybe they'll make suggestions too. But it's a very organic process, which involves a lot of jamming, and we just seem to have a sound. It's very effortless. It just the songs come together.
I guess you just feel it and it just comes right out. Point and shoot.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, when you first started up with the trio, did you feel like welcome in the jazz community?
No. But actually, as soon as the album came out, I think people were surprised with the album. No, it wasn't the most modern, cutting-edge jazz guitar. I know I'm not going to compete with the sort of, elite of the newer jazz guitarists. It's just a different thing. But it had, nobody could deny that it had a quality. Obviously, it wasn't a novelty. I'd taken learning this music very seriously. I wasn't trying to be something I'm not, and I got reviews in some very surprising publications like Jazz Is, Downbeat, Billboard, and we've just continued, and I think now it's really gotten to be, people know about it. It's something I don't think anybody expected it to last more than an album or two. And now that we've just done our fourth album, Veritas, which is...
I was about to ask you, how do you pronounce that? It's
Veritas. It's Latin.
Latin, right?
Which means truth. The response to that record is great. It's clearly our best record. So I think we surprised people, and now they're they've been supportive. Nobody's really I expected to be panned by the jazz world. That didn't happen, and they're really like starting to open up, which is even more, which is great.
How about the metal world, where you get like flack from some metal fans saying, "Oh, you should just stick to metal. What are you doing playing jazz? You're selling out or something." Or...
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You're never going to please everybody. There's always going to be a critic, or many. So you just have to do what you like to do, and you know what? Eventually, people come around too. I think it probably sounds strange on paper if you're in a metal band and suddenly you think you can play jazz. Well, I took it very seriously. I basically started over. I moved, left my coast, went to the hotbed of jazz, hung with jazz musicians, just did that for years and years. And I love doing that music. But just when that started to get acceptance, I rejoined Testament and started playing that as well. So I feel like part of my purpose is to go against the mold and do things that are different.
Well, that's cool. I like that. That's cool. Okay, let's get back to a little bit of talk about Testament now. The new album, I believe it's finished now, or just
almost finished? Yeah, it just needs a couple more vocal tracks and then mixing and mastering.
Could we get like a name?
Dark Roots of Earth.
And do you have any idea of when you plan to release that?
April of 2012.
All right, well, I can't wait for that. Let me just get on to our fan questions here before we finish up here. Okay, this one's from Terry Dibo Jr. He asks, Paul Bostoff recently left Testament, and what are your plans for auditioning? Are you guys going to have hold open auditions, or are you going to select certain people to come in and take a look at them?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I think there's only a few drummers that would work with Testament. Yeah, I mean, we have a circle of drummers, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be, I don't see an open audition happening. I see it being probably somebody that's already played with the band, whose schedule can permit them to do this album cycle and hopefully stay on longer.
Well, with the success of Formation of Damnation, if you held an open audition, you guys would be busy.
A travel call, yeah. No, we don't want to do that. No.
Okay, and finally, Justin asks, has working with Trans-Siberian Orchestra changed the way you write and your other musical ventures?
I wouldn't say it's changed the way I write. I would say it's changed the way I perform on stage, I used to only focus on the music, and just, I was a little bit of a purist in that sense. I thought that, showmanship is really overrated, and, but, you do a show like TSO, you gotta have showmanship.
What would you think, though, like today, with the way the music industry has changed and record sales going down, wouldn't you agree that, showmanship would be more important these days?
I agree, yeah. Well, I'm saying I've changed, and I think doing that show helps change that, because, if you're in a show like that, you're in front of that many people that have paid so much money for a ticket, you gotta put on a great show, and it requires total commitment. So the commitment I would feel up there doing that, I've applied to this and Testament, everything else I do. I just give total commitment. Right. I'm not thinking about anything else but that music and just giving it 100%.
Okay, this is a two-part question. This is from myself. Okay, favorite songs to perform with the trio and Testament?
With the trio, Still Loving You by the Scorpions, and with Testament, Practice What You Preach.
Practice What You Preach. Okay, and one final question now, again, two-part. Okay, if two bands fucked, and the child was the Skolnick trio, who would the parents be?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a funny question, but...
Take your time, we can edit.
God, probably, it would probably be Esbjörn Svensson Trio, which is a Swedish jazz piano trio, and the Pat Metheny Group.
Okay, same question with Testament. If two bands fuck, Testament was the child. Who would the parents be?
Okay. Well, probably early Metallica, I would say. Probably, that's a good question. Probably, yeah, I guess early Metallica and maybe Iron Maiden.
Cool. All right. Alex Skolnick, thanks for your time. This is Metal Attack MTL.
All right.
We're looking forward to the show.
Thanks, man. Enjoy.